All right, so let's go over the week 3 competency where you will be modeling the primary form and the secondary form of the Lego Man and also doing its UVs in a collage format that we learned this week. So all the skills that you learned this week is going to be applied on here. Now this is going to be more complex than the props that you made on week 2. This is going to be a little bit closer to what a production type model is going to be. Now technically this is still low to mid range, but this is something that you would actually use in both either games or production. With that said, let's go through some of the guidelines and how we approach it. So, knowing that you probably need a little bit of help, what we're going to go through is instructions. We're going to have you obviously create a new folder, week 3, and then download this images. This is going to be your reference. Unlike week 2, where we gave you a reference and you kind of modeled based off of it, here we're going to have you import that in and actually go line by line, out by outline, making sure that your object matches up with that reference. Um, with that said, we do have tutorials for every bit of the Lego Man. I will warn you, and this is your disclaimer, these tutorials were made before we made the switch over to Unreal and Substance Painter. And all that means is there is references to Photoshop and RenderMan. Just disregard them. Same information works for this Lego Man going in the Substance Painter as it did before going in Photoshop. So, with that said, go through all these different tutorials. We have the modeling section, which is the primary form and setting up your references, and we'll go through that completely. And then also we have one going through the secondary form and detailing. When it comes to modeling, you want to maintain a mostly quad workflow. I know that says quid. I will fix that. And try to minimize triangles whenever possible. Your model should be as close to the provided reference as possible, so you want to match up to the front and side views as much as possible. And definitely use outside reference to help you model even better. So go online, find like a just photos of like different Lego men to help you kind of like evolve your Lego man a little bit more. Model in pieces, again, keep it in separate pieces. There will be opportunities for you to model like one arm and one hand and mirror it over, but make sure that you're keeping them separated. You know, your arms don't move together. You want to make sure that they move independently of each other. Definitely reach out for help. Ask assistance from like studio artists, course directors, and even like reach out to your peers. It's great to like bounce ideas. As always, no sharing assets. Um, then when it gets to UVs, we want to make sure that we lay out in a collage format, which means we want to be able to have our UVs take in unique information, especially take in Substance Painter. So this is something that you would see with a character modeler. You would want to make sure that the UVs get unique information. That way, nothing's like overriding or nothing is titleable textures like that. So make sure that you watch the videos, observe like the different key things that we are looking from a collage layout. As far as grading, we are looking, as always, at your shape and form and also your UV layout. So does your object look like the reference, and does your UVs actually like have a great pathway to being viable inside of Substance? As far as like if I draw on one part, it's not going to magically show up somewhere else. So you want to have a clean layout. Here's an example. As let's go right here, kind of pull this up. So here's an example of a clean collage format. Now you do not have to match this 100%. This is what the tutorials will get you to, but as long as you observe like a collage layout format and all the key things that actually make a good collage format, you don't have to match this right here. You just want to make sure that you observe all those key qualities. Now, going in technical, we're now no longer looking at topology, but more at edge flow. Does your edges wrap around detail? Do they isolate and protect them? Building in pieces as always, and then mostly definitely no problem geometry. So at this point, you should be cleaning out all problem geometry. Professionalism, everything in grouped and named, as we can see right here. And as always, we will have a turn-in tutorial at the bottom of the page. Each prop on its own layer. There is no props. I need to remove that. History deleted, pivot centered, transformed frozen, scene named correctly, and submission cleaned out. And also project named correctly and submitted zipped. Outside that, that is the overview for week 3. Take care.